Good afternoon. Alexander Azimov. Let me talk about what is global reachability. So first, how do you measure it? Metrics. So let's talk how not to do it. Yeah. So you cannot measure this reachability by just guessing on your hand. So you cannot measure it. So if you look at these pictures, constellations, and other types of magic. So in global reachability, so your connections with your old vendors, because that's how you can measure it up. Because all operators are equal, but some are more equal than others, and that's why they. So then they exchange information among themselves, and with your prefixes, and then they give you global visibility. If you don't have connections with those vendors, those providers, and so then your prefixes, and then they don't see they don't see you, then you're invisible, globally invisible. So that's why it's the necessary condition of reachability, of accessibility of your network, that you have to have at least one path from your autonomous system to your provider, so IRL, so then R1, so it could be announced to your neighbors. And let's fantasize. So let's assume that tomorrow one of the operators stops working, completely dead. One network is dead, and so as you can see, it's a fantastic scenario. So it's Murphy's law. So so the worst thing can happen, and so then with operators anything can happen. So and it's quite often happens. Bad things happen to them. But let's complicate it. Take it one step further. How will it? What is happening is it breaks down one of the operators. How will it impact the national segment of the internet? So how many networks will lose visibility to the global to the global world, global reach? So but we cannot do a measurement. We cannot do an experiment because we cannot kill the operators to get statistics. So the only way out is to model the situation, and that's what we did. And so we built all possible alternative routes from each operator to all the providers using our model. And so then on the same day, so we put all the prefixes. So we did something with prefixes, not very quoted, but statistics should not impact. And then after that, we would take one by one, just would switch one operator off, then another operator off, and then we saw what the implications were. So what networks would become invisible and would become inaccessible. So then we just switched about. These are the top 10 countries with the most stable internet in the event of breakage of one operator. So then Russia is number 3. So the United States, Great Britain is ahead of us, and the difference is very little. And so the national stability is quite high. So there is a mistake with Rostelecom. Rostelecom should be there should be number should be different. I know they told me so number should be different against Rostelecom in brackets. Then what guaranteed Russia such a good reliability in this rating? Why Russia is so good? So there are no providers in Russia. It was not regulated because it's not regulated, but Russia has very sharp competition, and so that's why they couldn't find a place in the Russian market. And in Russia there are many tire providers. That is why if a big provider breaks, so it will impact negatively only 5% of the networks, because there are many small middle networks. And but it's not so good in others. So this is the rating of stability, national stability rating, and the ex-USSR. And you can see that what's good in Russia is not good in other former CIS. So what are the conclusions? And if there is a very rigid state regulation of the market operators, very rigid, strict, then the national segments become much more vulnerable if there's one operator stops providing services. Then over-regulated state-owned market so is bad, and so that is why. So I hope that Russia will follow the example of those who are ahead of it and not of those who are behind it.